Hi, I'm Rolf from Tempo Rubato. Today in this tutorial I'm demonstrating a little bit about how to control analog synthesizer with an external MIDI interface. There are a couple of MIDI interfaces now in the market, like the MIDI mobilizer from Line 6, you have for the iPad, the I/O dock from Alesis, but just recently IK Multimedia brought out this little beauty, which is iRig MIDI. So this goes into the docking connector of either an iPod, an iPad, or an iPhone. So let's take this, for example, this is my iPod Touch 3rd generation running NLogSynth MIDI. And I'm plugging this here in. And as you can see on the bottom side, there are 3 connectors, in, out, and through. These are typical MIDI connectors. And first, let's see what I can do with the in connector. So they supply the iRig MIDI with this kind of cables. This one end is a typical DIN MIDI connector, which goes in most MIDI hardware. And there's a little one which goes directly in the IK Multimedia iRig. So let's put this into the in. Clack. Shouldn't do that. And I'm using here a little MIDI keyboard, and this goes, the other side goes to the MIDI out of the MIDI keyboard. What does it mean? The MIDI keyboard sends MIDI events through that cable going into the iRig IK Multimedia into NLog MIDI synth. So what you have to do is go to Sys Devices in NLog, and you see here that the iRig MIDI is automatically detected, so there's nothing to be configured on the analog synthesizer. And let's see what it does. So I can play analog now from my MIDI keyboard. I can use the pitch band or the modulation wheel. And also program messages from MIDI. There's now on www.temporubato.com a full MIDI implementation chart what kind of MIDI messages analog synthesizers can receive and will react to. So this is very nice, and this works also for sure with the iPad. So let's try that. I'm just getting it out of the iPhone and get it into NLogSynth Pro on the iPad. Getting also the audio as well. So I can play it from the on-screen. Or I can play it now directly from the MIDI keyboard. So no configuration needed. What you have to make sure is that sometimes these MIDI devices here, the keyboards are sending on a different channel than the standard default channel 1. So what you can set here in analog, in this MIDI, there is here a little selector where you can either select a specific MIDI channel analog response to, or set it just to Omni, which means that regardless of the MIDI channel, analog will play. The MIDI protocol has up to 16 channels, so you could even change different devices into it. So the next thing, what you could do with analog is not just receiving MIDI, you can also send MIDI. And that's a total different use you want to do here. So you could use the on-screen keyboard of analog to control an external hardware synthesizer. I'm using here this little beauty. This is a Shruti from Mutable Instruments. This is a little synthesizer which has an 8-bit digital oscillator and a full analog filter. And it has been soldered by myself. So it's a do-it-yourself thing, but you can use any kind of commercial synthesizer as well. So let's take a look again on the iRig, and you see there's another connector here which is called MIDI out. So I take my MIDI cable, plug it now to MIDI out of the iRig MIDI, get it into my NLog, and get the other side of the MIDI cable, the big one, into the MIDI input of the synthesizer. So let's try that. Okay. Now I have to configure NLog to send out MIDI notes. You go to Devices, here, Robula, and you select Out Notes for the iRig MIDI. Here, it's dark, so select it. And now I can play this little beauty from the on-screen keyboard. Let's see what it does. You can also use the wheels. And with a little bit of controller program, you can also use the XY pad of NLog. So this is the MIDI out functionality, and that for sure works also with an iPhone or iPod Touch. So it's a quite handy solution what iRig IK Multimedia does with iRig. It has also a little connector here where you can plug in your USB power unit in order to charge your iPod or iPad while playing. So this is a little handy thing because your docking connector is busy with this. So that's basically it. It's a nice little device. For sure, there are other devices. You can have the Line 6 MIDI mobilizer. You can get for the iPad the camera connection kit or the Alesis I/O dock, and many things. NLog synthesizers on the iPad and on the iPhone are compatible with every core MIDI device in the market, as well as the first generation of the Line 6 MIDI mobilizer and the IK SynthStation 25. That's it. If you have any questions, just email at info@temporobato.com. Thank and have fun. Happy synths.